Imagine walking down a busy street and seeing someone collapse on the ground, asking for help. Now imagine no one stops. Not even you. What stops you from acting? What happens in our minds when we're surrounded by others, yet no one does anything? This is the bystander effect, one of the most disturbing psychological phenomena in human behavior. It reveals an uncomfortable truth. The more people are present in an emergency, the less likely it is that anyone will help. Sounds contradictory, doesn't it? After all, more people should mean more chances of help. But the human mind doesn't always work the way we expect. It all began with a brutal crime that shocked the world and raised an uncomfortable question about collective apathy. On March 13, 1964, Kitty Genovese, a 28-year-old woman, was murdered in New York City. She screamed for help. She fought. She begged. The attack lasted around 30 minutes, but according to reports at the time, no one intervened. More than 30 people reportedly heard her screams, and none of them called the police in time. The news spread quickly. No one helped. The headlines read, "Society was left in shock. How could so many watch the tragedy without doing anything? Were we all becoming indifferent?" The case inspired studies. Psychologists wanted to understand what happens to the sense of responsibility when we are in a group. That's when John Darley and the researchers, decided to investigate this behavior in depth. They created a series of simple yet revealing experiments to understand why people don't help. In one of them, volunteers were placed alone in a room while hearing someone calling for help in another room. When alone, 85% of people reacted immediately. But when they thought others were listening, that number dropped to 31%. The more people there are, the lower the chance of help. What they discovered was alarming. The more witnesses, the more diluted the responsibility. It's as if everyone thinks someone will do something, and in the end, no one does anything. This is the core of the bystander effect, the dilution of individual responsibility in the presence of a crowd. But it doesn't stop there. Other factors contribute to this social inertia. There's the fear of judgment. What if I act wrong? What if it's not that serious? There's also the phenomenon of pluralistic ignorance. If no one reacts, it must be okay. Wrong. This collective thinking can be fatal. It's a silence that kills. Several studies have replicated the bystander effect in different contexts. Smoke filling a room, simulated accidents, fights between couples on the street. The results are consistent. The number of witnesses directly affects the likelihood of help, but there are nuances. When the victim seems to belong to the group, same ethnicity, religion, or culture, the chance of help increases. In other words, there's a subtle component of identification. We help more those who resemble us, and this raises uncomfortable moral questions. How can our empathy be so selective? Are we conditioned to ignore the suffering of those we see as other? The bystander effect isn't just about apathy. It's about who we consider worthy of our attention, our effort, our humanity. Famous cases illustrate this cruelly. A woman being attacked in broad daylight. A man fainting in a crowded subway. Everyone passed by them. Everyone looked, and everyone kept walking. But what makes us act, after all? Are there ways to break this effect? Sim, pesquisas mostram que se alguém toma a iniciativa, mesmo que apenas uma pessoa, outros tendem a seguir. Yes, research shows that if someone takes the initiative, even just one person, others tend to follow. When someone says, "Call an ambulance," or "Help me," it gives others permission to act. The key is making responsibility clear, individualizing the action, breaking the collective illusion. But why does this matter so much here? On Mind Fragments, because the bystander effect goes beyond physical emergencies. It also operates in the silence, in the face of injustice. When we see bullying and don't intervene, when we witness abuse and don't report it, when we ignore others suffering out of convenience, the question isn't just, why doesn't anyone help? It's, why didn't you help? We live in an era where everyone has a camera, where everything can be exposed. Yet, many times, we choose to record instead of act. It's as if the digital presence amplifies passivity even more. We're so concerned with our image that we forget the essence. Humanity, compassion, courage. What if the next victim is you? Would you want to depend on someone's action or on collective inertia? The bystander effect forces us to look in the mirror, to confront our silence, our cowardice disguised as neutrality, because doing nothing, in many cases, is choosing the side of the oppressor. And this leads us to a deeper reflection. Evil doesn't triumph only through the actions of the wicked, but through the omission of the righteous. Are you willing to be the difference, or will you wait for someone else to do it for you? Comment below. Have you ever witnessed a situation where no one helped? How did you react? And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more fragments of the mind, where we reveal what many prefer to ignore.